Welcome to What Makes Up Your Mind? Updates from the frontiers of neuroscience, well-being, and mental health from the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences at Stanford University's School of Medicine. This is your invitation to meet the faculty dedicated to understanding our most complex organ, committed to curing mental illness, and inspired to help create a healthier, thriving world. Welcome back to another installment of What Makes Up Your Mind, the CNI-X Mini-Series. I'm Jane McMillan. In this mini-pod in our series, we introduce you to two alums of the Stanford Psychiatry Clinical Neuroscience Immersion experience. They continue their connection to the program in a pay-it-forward role as staff mentors. Now, if you've listened to our full podcast on CNI-X, you're familiar with this unique aspect of the support structure for the high school participants. Throughout the 2-week programs, both the in-person sessions and the Zoom session called CNV for Virtual X, these college students and recent grads act as guides, tutors, cheerleaders, and they give participants a view of where they themselves might be along their own paths in a couple of years' time. The staff mentors are particularly helpful in the capstone projects, in which small groups of participants create real-life solutions for a chosen mental health need. Now, the staff mentors themselves best explain this win-win experience. Nicola Manalili has taken her CNI-X experience and her interests into studying public health, while Abhi Anand combined his two interests into a degree in business psychology and marketing. Meet these two intelligent, engaging, and very caring staff mentors in conversation with CNI-X Program Manager, Dr. Laura Turner-Essel.
I'm honored today to be joined by two of our veteran staff mentors, Abhi and Nicola, who have worked in the program recently. And so, Nicola and Abhi, please take a minute and just tell us a little bit about yourselves and how did you first get involved with CNI-X?
Sure. Nicola, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. I was a CNX participant in 2020. This was my junior year, and I was really confused about what career path I wanted to go into, and I was really stressed out about it. I was talking to my college counselor, and I was telling him about how I really like biology, but that wouldn't be something that I could see myself going into. And I was also talking about how I really like psychology, but I've never taken a class. So he recommended that I try going into CNVX, and that was definitely the best decision I've ever made. So when I was a participant, it was really fun getting to meet people with similar interests. And then after that, I decided to be a mentor and have loved that ever since. Abhi?
Yeah, kind of a similar story. So I was in the in-person program in 2019, and basically I kind of fell into psychology because, I was actually supposed to be in an APCS class, like my junior year of high school, because, my mom forced me, typical things. But I accidentally got placed in AP psychology, and I ended up just kind of falling in love with it. I don't think one semester of psychology was just really enough. And so with that, I kind of found the CNI-X program, and I saw that it was like a 2-week program in which you can learn all about the different fields of psychology. And so, I attended, I signed up, and I had a great time. I made a lot of new friends. I worked on some interesting projects, and I had a great time with my staff mentor also. And so with that, it kind of just encouraged me when Dr. Turner reached out to me when she was like, hey, we're hiring for staff mentors. I was like, it would be interesting to see what the other side of it would look like, kind of helping run the program and kind of just helping the students along the way. So with that, I kind of became a staff mentor myself, and then that was my journey.
Well, we were really happy to have both of you. It's always really powerful, too, to have mentors who have been through the program. And obviously, when people are applying to be participants in the program, it might be unclear to them exactly what the staff mentors do, what the role of the staff mentor is, and how critical that connection is to their experience in the program. So can you both tell us a little bit about just what you did as mentors in the program and also maybe what you hope your participants walked away with in terms of those interactions that you had with them.
So it kind of differed with the in-person session as well as the Zoom session, but mainly we were in charge of kind of setting up the Zoom and then leading students into breakout rooms from the lecture. I really enjoyed the lectures because, I mean, as a student, it was really nice getting to learn about that. And it's great that I finally found a job where I'm getting paid to learn, I feel like. So
That's the best, right?
It's the best, yeah, for sure. So we get to kind of learn with the students and then help them understand it in the lecture as well as the breakout rooms. And then when they have questions during our small group session, it's nice to be able to talk about what they learned as well as what I learned from those lectures. And then the other part is the capstone research project, which we help mentor the students to create innovative solutions to neuroscience issues. And that's definitely my favorite part of the whole program, especially coming from a strong research background. I really like developing those solutions with them using the design thinking process. I heard a lot of students talking about, they would come up to me and say, like, how do you know what you want to do? And I would tell them, like, honestly, I still don't even know what I want to do. So I would encourage them to not stress out about needing to know what they want to do as high schoolers. And I think a lot of them really took my advice. I could see a lot of them stressed out with one another, and I would just encourage them to really take part in the program and try to see like all of the different fields in neuroscience and psychiatry, and learn that this is a program to learn about those fields and not to try to show off your abilities. Yeah.
Super helpful. Thank you.
Very beautifully said. Yeah, kind of summed up everything I would say. But I think a big part of the staff mentor position is to kind of just like facilitate conversation between the students, kind of get them discussing within themselves what they're learning or their opinion on it, or what their viewpoint on it. And I think that was honestly a big point of kind of just the whole program, is kind of just like having these discussions and kind of like promoting a new way of thinking about different topics, whether it's like sports psychology or neuroscience or surgery. With that, you kind of meet a lot of different people with different viewpoints, and it's kind of interesting to see how one person can take away like something that they've learned in a lecture versus another student who might have like been focused on something completely different. But kind of coming together, we would help facilitate that conversation. And I think for me, like one thing that I hope that the students took away at least was kind of just being able to have that conversation, being put in a completely new environment. Like most of these students, they didn't know each other, and they would be assigned in random capstone groups with completely new faces. But like when I was in person, it was like these guys had known each other for months, honestly, because like the way that they were talking, they're so comfortable, and there was kind of like promoting just like a friendly environment, just kind of having the students being able to be put in a new environment where they don't know anyone, but feeling like comfortable to discuss their own opinions and like share their own thoughts on everything. And so that is one thing that I hope the students kind of walked away with, is just how to like adjust or be comfortable in a completely new environment and like still put your foot in there.
Yeah, that is so important. Thank you for that. You all have kind of touched on all of the different facets of the staff mentor role and really hit the nail on the head with just the facilitation is a big piece. You all are, there when they're in lectures, when they're having small group discussions. Nicola, I know that you mentioned the CNI-X, so we even do that in the virtual space. Both of you have worked for the in-person program as well. And so, it looks different, feels different, but it's the same process of helping people share ideas and explore these topics that the faculty are bringing to them, and guides. You all are guides through the design thinking process, through the research process for the capstone project. But this part about just helping to create that safe container and to help build that learning community, that's really critical. And I think that's what a lot of our participants remember the most. You all are close enough in age to them that they can see themselves in you. They know that you are in high school just, a couple years ago or a few years ago. And so you understand their struggle and kind of where they are in their process. And you all serve as these role models. I love that you all come from different backgrounds too. And not everyone's like a psych major or a neuroscience major, although we have plenty of those. Abhi, I know you studied business, and Nicola, you're in public health. So how do you feel like your different interests and backgrounds and your different campuses in different parts of the country, how do you feel like all of that rich experience that you all bring as mentors kind of shows up in how you work with the participants in the program?
I remember when my first year being a staff mentor, I was very nervous because it seemed like many of the other mentors were neuroscience majors or psychology, and I don't really have a strong background in psychology, but I do have a strong background in public health. So I was like, well, I do have an interest in all of this, and I really love research, so let's just see how it goes. And I think being a public health major has definitely helped me be a good mentor, especially with the design thinking process and the capstone project. I think it's really important because, we're creating interventions and solutions to address neuroscience and psychiatry issues, which is a main thing in public health. As well as with my public health background, I'm able to look more on the population level, as well as looking at disparities, health equity, things like that, which I think really have helped me be a strong mentor, as well as like my public health leadership skills. And I think that all of the other mentors have different backgrounds that they bring to the table. And I think that as a whole, we're able to provide all of our strength into making the program better.
Yeah, I would say we have like such a variety of different interests. I remember like I'd only worked, one summer, but I know like one person was studying to be a doctor, Nicola was studying to be in public health, and I was in business psychology. So everyone had their own strong suits and something that they were able to take away and also give to the program as well. I guess like being in business psychology myself, a big portion of what I study is just the design thinking process, the ideation, the prototyping, and kind of reiterating on like our idea. And so with that, I felt like I was able to bring a perspective that I was really going to school for. But I was also able to get input from other staff mentors and hear what they have to say or like any background knowledge that they might have on the subject. Because I think with that breadth of variety, it also like helps kind of create an interesting program. Like, there's so many different topics in the capstone research project, like not one topic was the same. And so with that, it was like you're able to see the potential and kind of just the different routes almost, or like a different lifeline of a project with each staff mentor having a different background. So I thought that was a super interesting part of that aspect.
I was just going to add on, it's really interesting getting to work with the other staff mentors, especially like if I'm paired with another staff mentor for a capstone project or a breakout room. It's really interesting seeing how the direction of the conversation changes depending on who I'm with and their background. So I feel like I've learned a lot from the other staff mentors as well as all of the other students.
We love that and we encourage that because we recognize that you all are young people too, right? You're still students, and we want this to feel like a learning community for everyone. Something that several of the faculty members that we have spoken to mentioned is that they learn from the participants just as much as the participants are learning from them, and they learn from you all as well. And so we hope that when you all are working, you're also having a chance to interact with the faculty and learn about different developments in their fields, and also learning from the participants that you're working with because they bring their own rich knowledge and experiences to the program and all of the various things they're interested in as well. I know that I've had so much fun working with you all, and our team is always awesome. As you all mentioned, it's just like such a neat plethora of personalities and different strengths that people bring to the team every year. What's been your favorite thing about being a mentor in general for the CNI-X program?
I think my favorite part is definitely working on the capstone projects with the group. I mean, just like having a group for myself in general was super fun, especially in the in-person group, getting to actually have conversations with them, having lunch with them, and then working on the project together. I think my favorite part of the whole thing was the brainstorming process, seeing how each of the students had different interests and how they're able to bring that to the table. And it was really interesting seeing it from the start to finish. I would have some students who were very shy, and I would see them grow as participants throughout the 2 weeks, and that was really cool to see. And then on the last day, when we have our little graduation ceremony, that's always super fun, getting to see all the hard work that the participants put in. And I really liked all the mentors gave little speeches. That was super fun and funny to hear all the different personalities and what we all gained from this program.
Yeah, definitely getting to know, I think, the students was the best part for me, kind of just like breaking them out of shell. I saw kind of it was like the responsibility almost of the staff mentors to kind of break them out of their shell and kind of just like get them to just start talking with each other and just kind of hearing of their own genuine interests, like where they're from, their background, why they chose the program, what they want to do with their lives. It was so interesting. There was this one student, I got her out of her shell almost. She was a little shy at first. But the more we started talking, I learned like her genuine interest, and then I had saw that she had actually gotten like a full ride to a college that she had wanted to go to. I saw that it was offered genuine interest, and I honestly felt like proud for her. It was a very heartwarming and heart-touching moment to form these connections with these kids and just kind of see what they're doing with their lives now and where they're gonna go from here.
Awesome. Yeah. Last question. Why do you all think that anyone listening right now who is considering applying for CNI-X should go ahead and apply?
Well, I think the main reason to apply is to just discover your interest. You can see that the field is so broad. I think that's the main thing that I took away when I was a participant. I didn't know how broad the field was. I thought it was just, oh, I'm going to go in and learn about maybe how to be a psychiatrist. However, I learned that there's so much more to that. We learned about AI, technology, the business side, the public health side. So I thought that was really cool just to see how broad the field is and that there's so many different things that you can do with psychiatry and neuroscience, and learn from professionals in the field about how they got involved in their career as well as their research. I think that's always really interesting to hear about, like their whole background and what they're doing now.
Yeah, I think CNI-X is a great opportunity. Like Nicola said, like if you're unsure about what you want to do, I don't think there's like a better opportunity than to talk to some of the best at what they do, especially in the different fields of psychology. You get a touch up on every different fields of psychology, and there's a for sure like group of friends that you'll find. You'll be able to have a fun time, whatever your interests are. For me, at least, that was a big part of CNI-X, even like as a student and as a staff mentor.
I love that you mentioned that because you did both talk a little bit about some of the students that we have who might come in and be a little bit more reserved or shy. I think sometimes we also get students who are intimidated because they believe that everyone else there is just kind of like, genius level smart and well versed in everything already, and they're afraid that they won't have enough to contribute to the conversation or that they aren't academic minded enough. So for students like that, I love that you're offering this idea that you don't have to know everything already. There are lots of reasons to come and participate, some social, some about just exploration.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I saw from some of the participants, well, so they all come from different backgrounds with academics and life experiences and all that. And I remember I had this one session, I had a student who was very intimidated by the other students. She had never learned about psychiatry or psychology before. This was her first interaction with it. And I remember all of the other students being so supportive towards her, providing resources and their knowledge, trying to teach her about the topic. And I thought that was really cool to see how supportive the other students are as well.
Yeah. Also, I think that's a testament to the good work that you all do, helping students feel connected and safe within, especially within the small groups, but within the overall learning community. So not necessarily a competitive environment, and also not a place where you have to feel ashamed or feel judged if you're just not as familiar with something as you'd like to be yet. So thank you to you all for helping to cultivate that kind of culture within the CNI-X cohort each year.
It was a fun time doing so.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome.
CNI-X staff mentors and program alums Nicola Manalili and Abhi Anand. These dedicated and positive young adults join Dr. Turner Essel and the world-class researchers and clinicians of Stanford Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences to give CNI-X participants a unique learning and self-awareness experience, perhaps sparking a lifelong passion for a career in neuroscience. Follow the link in our podcast notes to the Clinical Neuroscience Immersion Experience webpage. It has scheduling, application, and financial assistance information. And please do listen to the other podcasts in our CNI-X Mini-Series on what makes up your mind. With Dr. Laura Turner Essel, I'm Jane McMillan. You've been listening to What Makes Up Your Mind? Updates from the frontiers of neuroscience, well-being, and mental health from the experts in the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences at Stanford University School of Medicine. For more information on this program and all of our transformational work, visit us at med.stanford.edu/psychiatry. What Makes Up Your Mind? Updates from the Frontiers of Neuroscience, Wellbeing, and Mental Health is a production of the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences at Stanford University School of Medicine, a copyright of the Board of Trustees of Stanford University.